Welcome to the How to Write a Book podcast, the show that helps you plan, write, and publish your book, even if you're a beginner or just feel like one. Now, for your host, she's written over a dozen books and helps others bring their books to life. Here she is, Maciel.
Hello, and welcome back to the How to Write a Book podcast. Welcome, friends. Hey, it's 2023. What's up? I'm your host, Maciel, and thank you for joining us here on this show. It is, first of all, the first episode of 2023. And let me just start off with, why am I late? You might be saying, like, girl, where have you been? Maciel, dude, you disappeared in December. I know. Well, let me give you some updates. Y'all know, we are writers. And now just a side note, I'm starting to really enunciate the T in writers because my dictation apps keep thinking that I'm saying writers as in people who ride stuff, like horse riders and motorcycle riders and dune buggy riders? I'm not even sure. So I'm like, okay, writers. So we all write. All right. Why am I late? Going back to the main topic. Well, as writers, we all know that we are usually introverts. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are an introvert. You might be an extrovert who is a writer, and awesome. That is amazing. I am an introvert, which means that I prefer to have time to go in and collect my energy, and then I can go back out. But when I do, I come back with full force, energy, enthusiasm, excitement, and it is amazing to be here. But also, it means I tend to keep things close to the chest. When I create my fiction, I tend to write fiction that actually is describing my life, but I've covered it with layers like dragons and witches and demons and all these fantastical elements. But I still don't share exactly what's going on in my life, but I express it through fantasy and fiction. And I think you can relate to that. And what does this have to do with me being gone for some time? What this means is that we had a lot of stuff going on that was fantastic in our personal lives. And although I wanted to share the updates, I always feel kind of strange bringing it forward. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm not sure how to feel about my wins and the things to celebrate. Those champagne moments, as my coach Trish Blackwell says. I love to celebrate those, but I tend to celebrate them within a very, very close circle of people. I love to encourage people, but when it comes to actually sharing my own wins, it's a lot harder for me. So I figured, you know what? Let me be transparent. Let's go into this. But that is why I'm so delayed in coming here. But I'll tell you a couple of things that happened. Well, first with the holidays, right? We had a lot of different holidays that were going on. I ate until my heart's content. I kid you not. And it was fantastic. Every year I go to visit my grandmother. She makes tamales, and we all make tamales, and it's hours and hours of being in a really hot kitchen, and you're getting masa all over your hands, and it's a lot of just trying to kind of get through this chain of people. Someone's folding, someone's adding the masa, someone's adding the carne. And it's actually a lovely tradition for my family. But this year was a little bit different because my grandmother has tuberculosis, so no one was allowed to visit her. So it felt like a little bit of a different year. However, it did give me some time to go visit my partner's family because I tend to not visit on Christmas Eve because I'm with my grandmother. And it was a nice time. It was lovely to catch up and to meet with, his brothers and sisters and their families, and it was awesome. We also moved into a new apartment. Yes, that was awesome. There was an apartment that we were living in that our landlord was super nice, but everyone around us was just not super awesome. It was kind of a headache. We had packages that were getting stolen. There was music at 4 a.m. There was a lot of stuff going on. And so we were like, you know what? Manifestation, welcoming in greater and brighter things. And we did. I was like, you know what? Let me look. What is our reality? And we got a super amazing apartment. I feel so blessed. I feel just like, oh my gosh, it has a pool, a jacuzzi, like all kinds of like security stuff of like trying to get in, which was really helpful. That's not what we had at our other apartment. And it just felt like, wow, we were able to do this. So it was just eye-opening of saying, can we step up? It was awesome. It was so, I guess, humbling to say, wow, the universe was saying, hey, here you go. Like, oh, great. Also was able to land more clients. That was awesome. So I was really heads down in that. I got a client that honestly out of nowhere, they had seen my posting. I had actually known this person from before, from several years ago, who's now working at a brand new company and was like, hey, can we have this new partnership moving forward? And I was like, I have not done this kind of partnership before, but I would love to. It would be so different. And so that's in the works right now. But I had to kind of go down back into like a research hole in order for me to understand what they needed, what would be, kind of like the schedule, what would be the deliverables for them, how could I also help them in the long run, like not just like, here's these things that we're handing over to you, but also how can we help you be better, improve your writing, improve your confidence in writing, just be able to have the resources. So that was a huge win. That was awesome. That was like the end of the year. I was like, oh my gosh, I achieved my dreams. Doubled my income for sure. Landed a new job. Y'all know I have been manifesting a job in production, entertainment, art, animation, gaming, that kind of trajectory. And it has been accomplished. And I feel so grateful. I feel so, oh my gosh, y'all, you guys know, if you've been with me for a while, I've been like, okay, this is going to happen. We're going to do it. We're going to try our best. And it's happened now. It's okay. Now I'm here. I'm in this new position. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, wow, I cannot believe this is the new life, and I say this because, for those of you out there who are like me, who feel like me sometimes, where you're just like, I don't know when this is going to change. It can change. It will change. Believe in yourself. Believe in the magic of the universe. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because you can feel the power that you have within you. And your words, your stories are powerful. And if you have that story inside of you, it means that you have that kind of power inside of you. Anyways, I digress, right? That is why I'm late to this. And I'm very happy to be back. So let's go over a couple of things. All right. I did a couple of challenges over the winter break. I did a 12 days of Christmas challenge. So I was pumping out lots of different like short courses, short ebooks, coupon codes. It was awesome. It was super fantastic. I've never pushed myself to that level before, and it was well worth it because I have a whole bunch of content now that I know other people want and that they find helpful, which is amazing. All right. Now let's just go ahead and recap 2022. I am going to be dropping a couple episodes this week, now that I'm catching up. But my intention for 2023 is to write and publish 500,000 words of fiction. Yep, I'm going to say it really fast and rip it off like a Band-Aid. How? Find out another episode. We'll talk about it. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm diving back in. We're going back in. I have an episode that I recorded in December. I'm looking forward to it. It is with a religious trauma coach. The interview was fantastic. It was so cool. And I think it's going to help you to understand better as to when you're coming to your writing, especially when it comes with a lot of emotion, a lot of past, why it can be hard. And that was one of the reasons why we met. Because some of my clients, they tend to be like memoirists, which is actually really interesting. I didn't know I was going to pivot in that direction. But memoirists will have, in my particular clientele, they will have trauma within their story. And so my question for this religious trauma therapist was, how can writers who have this kind of experience still write forward? And she has some amazing advice, some amazing tips, ways that she herself has done this. And so that podcast is currently under edits, and hopefully that will be done by the end of January and published out. And then we'll have some updates on what's going on in 2023. What the plan is for this podcast in 2023, some pivots and some changes, but I'm really excited about that. And then also a couple of other opportunities for you to write with me, to be along with me. All right. I hope you're having a fantabulous January. I hope that you had a wonderful new year, however you are celebrating. I hope that your writing dreams come true this year. And based on the manifestations that I've seen and the things that I've seen in the past years, it really is anything is possible. I had an interview the other day with someone for this show, and I really wanted it to go well. I was really hoping it was going to go well. I thought that what she was offering, for writers was fantastic. I looked at her, program. I looked at what was inside the program. I asked questions about that program from like one of her management people. I thought it was very cool. I thought, oh, this would be really helpful. But when it came to interviewing, one of the things that she brought up was that not everyone can be a writer, along with a couple other items that just didn't jive with my podcast. And I'm going to just be transparent. There are going to be people out there, very experienced writers, and people who aren't writers, who will say that not everyone can be a writer. There are people out there who say that writing is a talent that you're born with. Writing doesn't come to everyone. There will be people who say that. And I absolutely disagree. Why? Because I've seen it. The woman who raised me, my mother, does not have very good skills in writing or English or communication. She was raised working the fields along with her 9 brothers and sisters. No one taught her how to read. No one taught her how to write. She managed to get her associates, right, with her job, kids. I mean, it took her 12 years to get her associates. And she's good at math, right? This woman doesn't have a formal education in writing, and yet she taught me how to write. How? Because she encouraged me to read a lot. She knew that one of her, weak points was that she didn't read well, and so she didn't write well. And she didn't want that for me and my sister. So she encouraged us to read. She absolutely bought us books over anything else. We had reading times at night. Was I born reading right out of the gate? I wasn't. Nobody had it plugged in the knowledge of reading when I was an infant. I was taught how to read. And because I was taught how to read, I learned how to write better. And I had an advantage. Once I had that advantage, I was, pushed into classes of higher English skills, which further pushed my skills. Was this luck? Was I born with this? No. As you can tell, someone was there who encouraged me to go on the right path, which eventually led me to where I'm at. People have said, I'm a talented writer. Was it talent? Or was it the almost 30 years, more than 30 years, but I'm not counting the years that you can't read and write. The more than 3 decades, well, all right, of someone saying, let me put you on the right path. And over the years, hone that craft as you go through elementary school and then high school and college and further, right? So I decided not to publish this episode. I thought she had a great resource. I thought that the information was clear, it was concise, but it doesn't jive with my show. And what I want is to encourage, and I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to walk away with this show saying, hey, I can write. Hey, I can do that. Hey, I can edit my novel. Hey, I can write a nonfiction book. Hey, I can write a book like, so-and-so. Because we can all feel that way. It's not a talent. It's not, God given. I mean, art is awesome. It's divine, but also like, I would not tell anybody like, hey, well, you're just not a natural writer. No, anybody can write the book that's on their dreams. So that was a different episode. That was a different person. And just to put it out there that this show is about encouragement. This show is about inspiration. It's about keeping that light on, right? And so going back to my next guest, the guest I'm going to have on the show, different guest, I'm really looking forward to it because she has some really great tips on how to, encourage yourself, how to work through it, and even by step, baby steps, how to push through that kind of trauma and still write. And it was really inspiring. I felt so jazzed after. I was like, yes, let's do this. So you can look forward to that. I don't know when that's going to drop yet, but it's coming soon. All right, everybody. In the meantime, if you need an editor, I am starting to look for manuscript clients again, developmental editing, proofreading, copy editing. I'm your girl. All right. You can check that out at www.blackheartedstudios.com. Message me. I'm also on Instagram. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful January, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Keep writing.
Hey there, writer. Thank you for listening to the How to Write a Book podcast with your host, Maciel Valenzuela. If you like the show, we'd be happy if you left a review. For more information on writing and the writer's life, go to www.themaciel.com. That's www.themassiel.com. We'll see you on the other side.